ToplessRobot.com presents...
You're listening to Animated Opinions, the only podcast hosted entirely from the inside. Fucking A, Emily.
We watched Nut Job.
We watched The Nut Job and The Nut Job too. This is our opening now. Deal with it. I'm Melanie.
I'm sorry. I didn't think that was going to happen. I'm Emily. I was like, it's not going to come up. And then my body was just like, no, this has to happen.
I'm glad.
I'm sorry. I was like, okay, it'll be okay. And I turned away from the mic.
This is how we felt about The Nut Job and The Nut Job 2.
Honestly, it's shockingly on brand.
Oh, man. Surprisingly, we don't have a lot to go on about The Nut Job and The Nut Jobs 2 production. So.
I think they were Korean.
Yes. They were Korean-produced films. Though the second film
That's what we
had
got.
Chinese backing of some kind, because you don't, slot Jackie Chan into a film without wanting it to do well with the Chinese market.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. That doesn't mean it wasn't made in Korea. It just means that a Chinese production company definitely had something to do with it.
Yeah, they chucked some money at it.
Yeah. God damn. Watching these movies back to back, I actually think you have to in order to get the full effect of why both of them are so bad.
Yeah. I mean, I watched them on opposite nights.
Oh, no, but I mean...
So, I watched...
Just close enough that you remember the first one.
Yes. Which, shocking to no one, I really didn't while watching the second. Thank God I had this plot summary.
Oh, man. So, I figure we can dive right into it. We have shorter plot summaries this time around. We'll read them, and then we'll actually talk about the movie, because we did 2 movies in one episode. You don't want to hear the beat by beat of The Nut Job anyway. There's not a lot going on. So.
There really are no beats.
No, there's 3 plot beats that I will get through. With that in mind, Surly, a very angry squirrel voiced by Will Arnett, is determined to pull off the caper of a century by stealing as many nuts as he can from a newly opened nut shop. After losing their stores for winter in an accident deemed Surly's fault, the animals of the nearby park, led by Raccoon, are looking for a similar food score. Andy, a female squirrel with some sense, talks Surly into working together with the park animals, only to be crossed by Raccoon, who wants to take everything and murder Surly in the process. Meanwhile, the nut shop is actually a front for gangsters who are looking to rob a nearby bank. Maya Rudolph plays a pug who the animals enslave, then befriend. Surly and Andy manage to win the day in the end through a long action sequence that ends with all of the non-evil park characters happy and with enough food for the winter. During the credits, the animals and humans dance with an animated sigh as he performs his hit, Gangnam Style. Seriously, that's it. That's the whole goddamn movie.
And that happens. That really happens. You think that's a short plot summary? That's honestly the exact thing that happens in the movie. There's not a lot going on. It's a lot of filler and squirrels.
There's a lot of characters that did not even manage to affect the plot at all.
I don't know any of their names. I know Surly, Andy, and Buddy. Only because they show up again in the second movie.
I know all of the animals that got names, which I think just includes Grayson and Precious. But that's about it.
I didn't know the pug's name was Precious until way later. But I'm pretty sure I was just calling Grayson Brendan Fraser.
You were. I don't know why. What the fuck? Again?
And that's the other thing. Some of these things are named Raccoon and Mole. But then there's also Andy and Grayson.
Yeah.
Who the fuck?
I don't know why they did that.
I want to preface with, I was having a real bad week and I was on 3 different kinds of allergy medications. And while I was eating this, I was straight up, I had taken 3 Benadryl. I had taken a Claritin in the morning, and I had taken a Zyrtec with my 3 Benadryl. And my roommate's dad is a pharmacist, so this was all okayed because I was miserable. And he's like, if you need to do it to live, do it to live. So I did. And I was eating ice cream because I was determined to just hate myself to the fullest. And I start right off the bat. I hated the font used for the opening titles. It was stupid. I hate Will Arnett. I hate squirrels a lot. And Will Arnett's direction, I assume, was, okay, we already know your voice sounds gruff, but we need you to sound even more gruff. And it just made it sound so fake. And then he has the line, just trying to get that nut or something, or like get a nut. And I was like, no. Like, we are 30 seconds into the movie and I already have noped out.
These models are cheap as hell. The fur isn't really furry. It's just kind of hard modeled onto them. They've got sharp edges and like angles around them. Basically, it's the squirrel from Over the Hedge, which was a DreamWorks movie that came out in 2006, ripped into this movie with very minor tweaks.
I have never seen Over the Hedge, so every time you say it's like Over the Hedge, I'm just taking it fully at face value.
It's 100. Like, you can just Google image search Over the Hedge and see the squirrel character, and you will be amazed at how 1-to-1 they are.
Doing it live.
Yeah.
Continue.
While you're doing that, the lighting in this is not good. It's not Izzy's Way Home bad, but it's very unimpressive for a film that came out in 2014. Like, if this were a 2008 joint, I would not have this level of complaints, but it's very clearly a low budget movie and they have nothing to sell it on. The only artistic direction...
The squirrel is ugly.
Yeah, it's ugly, but it looks just like the characters from Nut Job, right?
Yeah.
There's only one thing that I liked about the art direction here. All the eyes have a subtle black outline that sells the cartooniness and really makes them pop when they emote. It is the one thing that I was like, oh, wow, someone cared.
Yep.
Also, Brendan Fraser plays a character named Grayson who's super sexist, and I hate him.
Brendan Fraser! Every time Brendan Fraser came on, I was like, oh, hey, Brendan Fraser. And that was, yeah, I fully agreed with the models sucking. The humans were bad. The humans were bad, but like they were just bland humans. The animals were, everything just looked bland, I guess. I wouldn't even say they were shitty. They were just like generic and basic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I was trying to remember the shitty bird movie we watched, but I think maybe it was just me that watched it.
Well, I can't help you there.
I think it was Duck, Duck, Goose.
Yeah. I, in fact, do know of Duck, Duck, Goose and will agree with you.
Yeah, I think that that was just Nora and I watching it.
Yeah, I was not there. Sorry that I was replaced in your memory. My coping strategy for watching this movie was closing my eyes and imagining BoJack Horseman, also voiced by Will Arnett, doing the voice acting for this movie. So, like, multiple levels of animation.
Yeah. That would have been really interesting, actually, to have, like, an animated movie.
Yes, to imply that an animated character is voicing another animated character.
I actually got mad when you pointed out that this movie came out in 2014, because I did not believe that. I definitely thought it came out in like 2009.
So this was based off of a short film that came out in the mid 2000s. So they took a lot of the character design from that. It was much uglier though. The short film, obviously, I mean, it was made by a much smaller team on a smaller budget, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So they kind of smoothed out the art style and made everything cuter and a little more attractive. But you can tell that the budget did not get upped enough.
Right. Like, there's the joke in the world, the art world and the design world, that you can have two. You can pick two. You can have good, fast, or cheap. And I was having trouble, like, After you said 2014, I believed it because it looked like somebody just kind of shoved this movie out really fast. But I couldn't decide whether they went for fast and cheap or they went for good and cheap. They definitely did not go for, I don't know. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but I was bored with it. And the cart scene in the very beginning where they're trying to steal the nut cart wasn't even over yet, and I was bored.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of this movie that is just action sequence that's really boring and bland.
The only good lines in this whole movie came from Grayson, because it's Brendan Fraser delivering them, and Grayson has a line where he's like, you must smell my cologne that is made from tree sap and falcon tears. I was like, hell yeah. I'm here for that.
The tree explodes when they crash the aforementioned nut cart into it, and it made me laugh because the tree fully just is engulfed in flames and explodes. That was the only part that I was like, that was funny.
Yeah, and I point out that it's kind of hard to fuck up an explosion like that.
It's true.
And I was really mad because, I would not blame that on Surly. He was definitely out of there, and the cart was firmly in the hands of Andy and Grayson. And I would say it's their fault here. What happened to the tree?
100%.
100%. But, Surly is clearly, the scapegoat for everything because nobody likes him. And they've got, a weird blend shader on their feet instead of, a rough, a dog foot texture,
Yeah.
I don't know how rodents work, but I assume that squirrels don't have very smooth pads of their feet like a cat would.
No.
And this was even more extreme. This was this is a plastic texture. And I was like, oh boy, howdy. And then the contact shadows, there was clearly no post work done on this film to clean it up. Or if there was, it was so minimal.
Yeah.
And I think the lighting is to blame for that. I'd like to know how this film was lit.
Agreed. I would love to know. Because again, it's rough.
I bet if I tried really, really hard, I could find somebody that would admit to having worked on the nut job.
I think you could. This one isn't.
It's not as shameful as having worked on Delgo.
No, this isn't a very shameful piece of work, especially if it was one of your first gigs. This is something where you said, I made an animated movie, it made a profit. It's fine. I was impressed at how evil and mean Surly was as a character. A kid's movie doesn't have to be sunshines and rainbows, but he's a real asshole and does not do anything nice for the first 30 minutes of the movie easily.
No, he is not a good friend.
No, and he's supposed to be the main character, and I'm like, oh, this guy's a real dick.
I mean, I don't hate him. Surly definitely has no reason to be a happy camper. He has no reason to be nice. His life has been fucking shit for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I get why he's like that. And I was really upset at this point that Gangnam Style, I haven't heard it yet, because you were like, it's 15 minutes in and they're playing Gangnam Style. And I was like, oh shit, I'm 20 minutes in. And I can't believe I haven't heard it. And I was like, honestly, the best parts of this movie were Gangnam Style and when it was over.
They find the nut shop and Surly and Buddy just dance to Gangnam Style in front of the nut shop for a minute. And it's very clear that Gangnam Style was not initially the song that was there, based on them not doing the proper Gangnam Style dance that they do at the end of the movie, but also just their dancing doesn't match up to the song at all.
It was so weird. I don't know why they threw in Gangnam Style in 2014.
So that was when Gangnam Style was big. That's not the issue. It was that the Korean production company, something, had direct ties to Psy. It was an easy get for them, and they were like, this will make our animated movie popular. I don't know. They turned a fucking profit, so.
Alrighty. That makes sense.
Yeah. And then here comes the human plot. Oh no. I actually think that I enjoyed the human plot more than I enjoyed the squirrel plot. It just wasn't on screen for long enough.
That's fair. I thought it was going to turn out like fucking B movie, and thank God it didn't. And I was just mad. I was like, Surly should just go find a college campus and live in a trash can. And the second I had that thought, Gangnam Style started, and then they were dancing, and then there was a montage.
My only note, Jeff Dunham is voicing the mole. I'm very angry about that, but it just is the fact of it that made me angry.
I had no idea there was a mole until I then looked and saw that there was a mole, and then I heard it. And they haven't even left that was what it was. Andy and Grayson are tasked with leaving the park and finding food. They literally don't even make it off the fucking sidewalk, and Andy gets robbed of the food. She loses the food.
Yep. I was hoping Grayson would get killed because this movie is really intent on smacking him around, but instead he's on top of a bus and it drives away, thus driving him out of the movie for the next 30 to 40 minutes, which is very convenient for me.
And it's not like they couldn't afford Brendan Fraser in 2014. I actually don't know how much Brendan Fraser is like worth to this movie. You left for a little bit, and now the sound is really weird.
Fuck. Dude. Give me a minute. Sorry.
Okay. That's totally fine. We're doing some audio fixes. It's all good. I am looking at, oscillating fans, and this is gonna be the ASMR part of the podcast. While waiting for Mel to get her shit together, am looking at lights and oscillating fans because my apartment does not have overhead lighting for some reason, and also has very poor air circulation. So I am currently lighting my room with a single desk lamp, and it's not very convenient. So I'm hoping that I can get some kind of Christmas lights.
Wow, it's Zem.
Kind of
let me join this call. Hello.
Are you back? There's now an ASMR section of this podcast.
Oh, I sang a song.
Oh, I'll just cut them together.
It's a song about how you're editing this one.
Emily's gonna have to deal with this. Emily's gonna have to deal with this.
That's basic. The song is like a thank you song where I sing about how I got 7 like relatively problem-free episodes. Meanwhile, you have to edit 2 episodes where my fucking headphones ate shit during them. It's so weird. Yeah. My Bluetooth headphones only crap out when we're recording the podcast. Literally at no other time.
I mean, mine are wired, so...
Well, yeah, I got a new phone, but I don't have the thing that makes it use regular headphones yet, because that costs an extra $10, and I'm waiting for my credit card rewards.
See, I'm doing this all on my laptop, so I'm not doing anything on my phone.
Well, I like having it on the phone, so that way I can manually toggle the volume. It's a thing. It doesn't matter. I'm on my desktop now. Everything's fine. We're talking about Brendan Fraser.
We were talking about Brendan Fraser, and then I started doing an ASMR section about how I need an oscillating fan and some lights in my room. Brendan Fraser, I confirm after I was like, why did we lose Brendan Fraser? And I definitely think the lighting caused a lot of problems on this movie.
Yeah, 100%.
Which makes me sad.
Oh, yeah, like, it is genuinely disappointing. Also, they say the word Nutlantis, and I immediately thought of a lot of bad things. Thus, no comment.
I have comments. Actually, I have one comment, and the comment is, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
However, I love the dog. The dog is a great character.
I didn't realize that the dog was going to be able to talk, honestly. And then suddenly it's Maya Rudolph, and I decide that the dog is the best. And then I made a Game of Thrones joke in the notes.
By the time...
Because winter is coming.
By the time this comes out, Game of Thrones will be over.
No, it won't.
Yeah, well, there's...
Oh, yeah, it will.
We got 10 weeks.
I like that we're just like, no fucking... Yeah, well. Throne Games is going to be over.
Okay,
my Game of Thrones prediction. Sansa is going to rule the North. Jon and Dany are going to get together. And Arya is going to live, and everybody else can fuck off. I only care about those 4 characters. Oh, and Tyrion.
My prediction is that they didn't know where to go without R.R. Martin fucking telling them, and everyone's just going to die.
No, he told them.
Fair.
Yeah, like the whole thing with George R.R. Martin, I guess, he was like, yeah, I might die before I finish this fucking book series, so I'm going to tell you how it ends, and then you guys can go from there.
Okay, so now we know.
Yeah, so I think this is the most accurate we're going to get. I also think George R.R. Martin just doesn't want to finish the series at this point. No,
he's old and he wants to play with his wolves. Why would he care?
Yeah, I have a lot of weird feelings about this Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I hate the interpersonal conflict in the nut job. I don't care about the characters fucking arguing with each other for half the runtime.
Yeah, and like the parallel heists were interesting, I guess. Kind of, maybe. I wasn't really paying attention. When I did pay attention, I hated the contact shadows.
I thought that the plot device of the parallel heists was neat. I was like, oh, that's fun that they bothered to care about having a secondary plot. At one point, the gangsters come downstairs and they're like, look at all these rats. And I'm like, wait, none of them are rats. And then a couple of them were rats. And I had to amend my statement. Then I started online shopping.
Well, you missed a joke about ass eating in this movie. Yeah, so that's what you missed, but unfortunately that is what I did not miss.
I'm proud of you.
I was there for that.
Grayson took a real beating throughout this movie, and it stopped being funny, especially because they implied that he had severe brain damage.
Yeah, what the fuck? But once again, Brendan Fraser gets the best line.
He does.
He says, stop talking about butts, talk about me. And I was like, I'll talk about you, Brendan Fraser.
I do love Brendan Fraser. Also, I want to point out that this plot is the same as Over the Hedge, where bad character works with good characters to steal food from human.
Okay. Yeah, it was really weird at this point. Sorry, because I needed this movie to end because I needed to take my dog out, and I paused it to take a look, and I was like, how the fuck are there 20 minutes left in this movie? And then realized that I had been so bored that I hadn't realized that any time had passed in this movie, because the same thing happens over and over and over again with really no change.
Yeah.
So, like, I was like, okay, this movie's been playing for 20 minutes, but it's actually been on for, like, an hour already. And we're almost at the climax. And it should have been exciting because it's a heist and a chase and there's double crossing and there's a lot going on. But I was just confused and bored the whole time.
Well, it's funny because all of it is so distinctly telegraphed to the audience multiple times that you can look away from this movie for 20 minutes and come back and know who the good guys and the bad guys are without having to pay attention.
Yeah, that's true. I think the only thing I really liked about this movie was Maya Rudolph as the pug and Katherine Heigl as Andy.
Yeah.
Like, she was a solid choice. I also liked that only some of the characters got names, and I talked about that a little earlier.
I agree with that statement. Also, Precious takes Buddy, Surly's best friend, who we have not talked about because he can't talk, so he doesn't do anything to help the plot.
I did not realize he was mute.
Yeah.
Like, I just did not process it until they were like, Buddy can't even talk. I was like, oh, really? What?
So Precious takes Buddy over to Surly's dead body so they can mourn for a moment, and then Surly wakes up and they do a hug. It's very sweet.
Yeah, they do a heckin' hug. Andy did a hug, too. They all did a hug. Everybody did a hug.
As I put it, ha ha ha, sharing. Let's share and be friends, y'all. Hooray. We all are a little nuts. Are you ready for fucking Psy? Because there he is. I am sitting through all of Gangnam Style in 2019 for this.
I would rather have sat through 1.5 hours of Gangnam Style than ever watch The Nut Job again. Like, in 2019, I would have watched an hour and a half of Gangnam Style.
Oh, God. One, the thought of that, but two, seeing the worldwide take of this movie.
Yeah, so shamefully, The Nut Job opened. Okay, not shamefully. I guess if parents wanted to take their kids to see a movie that looked harmless, this was a good choice. It opened at number 3 at the box office and domestically grossed $64 million on its production budget of $42 million. And then worldwide, it grossed $120,885,000.
I'm gonna just yeet my computer out the window. I don't want to live in this world anymore. And speaking of not wanting to live in this world, time to talk about The Nut Job 2, because I hate myself.
Because there was a second one.
Yep. You ready for the short plot summary of this bad boy?
Yep.
I guess, like, 6 months after the end of Nut Job 1, all of the animals have grown complacent from living off of the wealth of nuts from the now-closed nut shop. Andy hopes they will come back to the park and find their roots, and luckily, the nut shop fucking explodes, so they have to. Mm-hmm. The evil mayor of the town has decided to build a theme park on top of the park, threatening our animal pals' home. They fight against the theme park. The theme park opens and is a disaster thanks to the animals, which forces the theme park to close. The theme park is rebuilt, and the animals relearn how to find food. Maya Rudolph has been replaced with a not great sound-alike. She gets a plot about falling in not quite love with an English bulldog who is somehow the same size and proportions. I would like plush toys of these characters. The animals dance to Uptown Funk at the end. Seriously, this one had less plot.
So, it actually is Maya Rudolph.
What?
I had to look it up because I also firmly believed that it was not Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph, what did you do the day you were recording this? You didn't sound like yourself, girl.
Phoned it in? I don't know.
She must have heavily phoned it in because I was fully convinced that it was someone trying to sound like Maya Rudolph and not doing a good job.
Same. That's why I went and looked it up because I made a comment too. I was like, yeah, this isn't Maya Rudolph.
I was mad.
And it was.
I was mad about that because I love Maya Rudolph.
Right. I was like, yeah, this is fine. It's totally great. And then I was like, oh no, Maya Rudolph is gone.
Yeah, this one is distinctly worse. Also, they don't tell you that, I guess, like 6 months happened between the end of the Nut Job 1 and Nut Job 2, because the end of the Nut Job 1, they don't live in the fucking nut shop. The nut shop is going to be reopened as a legitimate business by one of the gangsters, and the animals are happy because they have enough food for the winter. Also, the movie was set in the fall. The first Nut Job was set in the fall. All the leaves were turning to fall. They were storing shit for the winter. And then this one takes place in the summer. This is why I watched them back to back.
Yeah, I definitely... Like, I knew they were stocking up for winter. I don't remember it being fall, though.
All the trees were autumn colored.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I just knew that they were stocking up for winter, which is something that you can start doing in summer.
Yeah.
So
also,
yeah,
everyone...
I don't know how squirrels work.
No.
Sorry.
No one knows how squirrels work. They do their own thing. Everyone is different colors. Surly is just purple now.
Oh, yeah, he's straight up super fucking purple. But they look a little bit, like the fur looks a little bit better.
The fur does look a little better.
Yeah, I wasn't paying close attention to the opening credits, but like I assumed, I was like, they maybe had a new production company. And then I have the note, did we lose Maya Rudolph? And then I looked it up. Nope, she was there. She's okay. She's with us.
I was confused why Andy wouldn't want the free nuts from the nut shop. Because, like, you could just have everyone take them back to the park rather than living in the nut shop and getting fat. But whatever. Also, why was it closed? I don't know. I feel like this movie didn't do a good job of filling in the gaps.
No, well, I think it's because there were gaps that were huge.
They were so big.
Yeah, I feel like the nut shop was closed only temporarily. Because, like, I think the whole thing was it was going to be reopened by the gangster's girlfriend.
Oh.
Maybe.
Mm.
And maybe she, like, gave up on it or didn't want it anymore. And, like, what do you even do with all those nuts? Like, I assume that once you've purchased it, it's hard to resell that kind of shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then I couldn't figure out when this movie took place. I guessed 1950. And then there was a line about, let's get that nut, and I kind of checked out.
There's direct product placement for Blue Diamond nuts with a modern label and can for them. Buddy is carrying them back to the park after their party at the nut shop.
Yeah, also, what the fuck? The woman that was in the first movie just, like, abandoned this dog.
Precious is her own animal.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, up yours, bye, dog.
I love the fact that they definitely didn't know how to continue this plot, so the nut shop just fucking explodes.
Oh, yeah. My problem with that is right off the bat, there were nuts everywhere in that explosion. Just pick it all up and walk away with it all. And the other thing, this is where I was like, yeah, Surly is very, very, very purple. But I also didn't like that Andy went from being an okay character to being just a total nag. Like a huge downer.
Oh, agreed.
It was so disappointing to me. Oh, Surly and Buddy, are like, hey, we're going to go find food. We're going to find a solution that's going to save everybody again because we're the heroes. This is going to be great. And they end up outside of a movie theater, and the movie theater is showing The Birds. So I was really close with my guess of 1950, but The Birds came out in 1960. Well, the 1960s. I think it was 64? Doesn't matter, because I was close. They returned to the park, having not found any food. Because they only spent one goddamn night searching. They did not even try.
This is where I was convinced this movie was going to be over the hedge because they were going to get pushed out of the park and have to go search through human domiciles for food. No, it's not a part of the movie. The search for food takes a backseat for the next hour to the theme park plot, which is utterly confusing. Why did they set up this plot and then ignore it? Also, Andy begins to sing. And then they stop her from singing and are mean about Andy's singing because this isn't a Disney movie.
Yeah, they're like, I know you love the park, but never do that again.
They set this one up so quickly because they just cut to the mayor angrily overlooking the park and saying, the park doesn't make me money. I'm going to build something on top of it. And then they cut away.
Rawr, rawr, rawr. I'm a money-hungry human. Rawr, 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 rawr. I was actually thankful for that because I thought the first movie took way too long to get its shit together. And I think the daughter of the mayor is the Girl Scout from the first movie.
Sure.
And I don't know if that's intentional or if they just didn't want to have to make a new model
Well, she's also a fucking psychopath like she was in the previous movie, so
Which is great.
I don't know if they decided that she tested well or if someone thought that that was a funny character. She's not funny, and she's really just an awful little piece of shit.
Yeah, why would that character have tested well? She was there for fucking 45 seconds.
Why else would they make her like a main part of this plot?
I don't know, because they needed a human child character for human children to relate to.
The human children don't relate to Hannibal Lecter in a child's body.
I do.
Of course you do. You're a terrifying being that's beyond the point.
I love Hannibal Lecter.
Will Arnett is definitely phoning this one in comparison to the previous movie, and thus I decided this was during one of BoJack's low points.
Yeah, he definitely sounded more like Will Arnett than the first movie, and I think it's because they realized that, like, there was no point in pushing him for that performance. Like, he's already gruff, you know?
Yeah.
His voice already sounds that way.
It's weird, because this movie has, like, a simpler and stronger plot. In theory, animals fight to get Park back. Makes sense. You can milk a movie out of that. But it feels more generic, like they're just filling a lot of the time between the major plot beats they have to hit.
Yeah. Oh god, and the mayor. I liked the character of the mayor, only because he reminded me of Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Doug Dimmadome.
And I linked you.
Owner of the
Doug Dimmadome, Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Dimmadome.
Yeah. I love that video.
My note, God fucking damn it, Surly, you are a piece of shit.
Yeah, I didn't know what that note was for, and I was hoping it was, I just put bees, and then there were bees. And then I was like, oh, I bet your note on Surly being a piece of shit is an interpersonal note between him and Andy. And then it was confirmed that I was right. And then the shadows were just bad, and the nuts look awful.
They do. They look terrible.
They just look bad. Everything looks bad.
Everything
is awful.
Everything looks different. So they simplified the model shapes for this one a lot. So they used like UPA style sharp curves in the previous film to get across the shape of squirrels. But this time they did...
Squirrel shape.
Yeah. But they did more like generic ass Disney shapes for this one. So everybody's like kind of soft and round and is a little more curvy generically. But the facial animations are better. So I guess it was a good move. Better.
I didn't know. Sorry, I have to stretch. This is one of those stretches that like is real big. Okay. I did not notice shit in this movie because I wasn't paying attention, but I think I'm going to have to agree with you there. The mayor is hilarious. I think he's just so stupidly evil for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
That I love it. And there's... Why are my roommates making so much fucking noise? There's a moment where Surly and Andy, like, what happens to them? They get, like, blown away by some... Basically, they're like, I wanted Surly to fall on top of Andy or Andy to fall on top of Surly because I wanted some goddamn anime bullshit.
Instead, the dogs fell in love. I am so shocked I didn't see this coming.
Which is stupid because the pugs are ugly and the bulldog did not look like a bulldog but was supposed to be a bulldog.
Yeah.
That was ugly and I just hated it. And I just absolutely, like, confirmed I hate this.
My note. I like that I don't need to pay attention during the hijinks, just like the first movie.
Yeah. Then there was I hate this child, and honestly, I wasn't sure if that was your note or mine, but same. And then...
You want to read that, or you want to keep it to yourself?
I'll read it. So the next note. I'm casually scheduling a booty call during what is supposed to be an action scene, so that's a good indicator of how exciting this movie is.
My note, what the fuck is the Secret Life of Pets ass looking mouse doing here? Oh my god, he's voiced by Jackie Chan.
I like Jackie Chan Mouse because... Oh, I forgot I wrote this too. Okay, so right off the bat, I do like Jackie Chan Mouse.
He's fine.
Because I think, yeah, he's fine. He shows up for like maybe 3 minutes total. I think the concept of small, cute things being able to just destroy people is hilarious. And I also made a note that the exceptions to this are small men and small dicks.
Wow. This movie is dull. We were clearly thinking about different things during this film.
We definitely were. I guess I was just bored and exuding like pain energy because my roommate's cat kept coming in to check on me. Like he would come in, hop up on my bed, say hi to like get his head scratched, like 2 head scratches, and then he would leave. And it was great. I have a couple lines from this movie. And this is the scene where the dogs are locked in the cage in the girl's room and she's playing with her dolls. And Maya Rudolph Pug has the best lines. She is the new Grayson in the show.
She is.
And she says, so this is what they say when they mean warning signs, which was great. There's a joke about dog vomit, which is disgusting because they show dog vomit, which I did not need.
And then they show a dog eating said dog vomit. It's a nightmare.
Yep. I did not need that in a kid's movie. Like, I get... It would have been fine if they had the dog throw up and then not show the vomit, but also... For fuck's sake. Like, why? It would have been fine if they had shown the dog, like, ducking its head out of frame to throw up. Then all of the lines were made the same. Then, like, out of frame, he eats it. Because, like, that's funny. That's been done before. We get it, but we're not being shown gross, disgusting shit. And then Maya Rudolph Pug says, it's amazing how quickly rock bottom sneaks up on you. And the movie was so self-aware in that moment. I was so done.
Fair. My note, is Buddy just fucking dead? Because the movie spends, I want to say like 10 minutes solidly with Buddy just like passed out on a rock and everyone around him looking very sad. And then they tell the origin story of Buddy and Surly and it was genuinely sad and engaging. And I was like, where is this movie coming from with this sudden heart?
And I was pissed about it because I was on Reddit, so I didn't know what happened to Buddy.
Sorry. Should have paid attention.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, they do the origin story. Buddy is still dead. And then they cut away from it for the fucking theme park building. And I was like, I don't care about that. I'm genuinely engaged with these characters.
Yeah, that's how I felt about that job.
My note, hooray, Buddy's not dead. Going back to not giving a fuck about this movie.
Yeah, I was actually legitimately worried that I would, like, have to get off Twitter and pay attention to this movie, which would have sucked, actually.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's weird because this movie, in theory, is better. The characters are more likable and aren't spending the whole movie fighting with each other. The plot has a simple heart. Like, it's very straightforward. You want to root for the animals. But the dual heists and what was going on in the first one was more engaging. Like, this movie is much easier to ignore. If you cut out all the action, this could be a TV movie. No problem. And then, how is this movie still happening? There's like 25 minutes left. Christ.
Yeah, I stopped this movie with 30 minutes left to go because I had to take my dog out. I could not tell you if that was a good idea or a bad idea. Like, I was just not invested in this movie in any way. So, like, 30 minutes, like, this is the climax of the movie.
Yeah. And it's just a big theme park fight scene. So you're really, all of my notes are just about the theme park fight scene. There's one funny scene in this movie where the mice swarm into a hazmat suit. from the guy who's working at the theme park movie, and they work together to kind of become a terrifying man full of mice. And then Jackie Chan Mouse pops out of one of the goggles and says something threatening, and the glove flies off and the mice are inside of it. It made me laugh. The whole sequence was very funny and well animated, and it made the mice worth their weight in gold for the film.
Yeah, I started bra shopping during these scenes.
Yeah.
So there was definitely, like, I definitely remember the mice, like, okay, here's what I remember. The chipmunks have a thing of yellow mustard, and there's a guy in a tuxedo, like a white tux, and they're just like, he's in a white tux, let's get him. That was it.
Yeah, that's about it. So a lot of action scene happens. The Ferris wheel rolls through and is on fire and looks kind of neat for a second. It's like 2 seconds of shot that someone should put in their portfolio. And so the theme park is destroyed and the animals are happy. And my note says, okay, the park is still fucked and has no trees or food for you guys. And then the movie bothered to address that and said, the people helped rebuild the park. Some people aren't bad after all.
Yeah, no, it was just such a stupid fucking concept. The whole thing was stupid. Everything was awful. I just didn't enjoy myself. This was clearly made to be a boring, harmless film that would appeal to the widest audience with the least offense.
Yeah, at the end, they do a callback to the first movie where At the end, they do a callback to the first movie where Surly sees a nut cart and turns to Andy and is like, ooh, I don't want to do this. And then Andy's like, yeah, let's do it together. And it was a fun ending. But I think that the setup of Surly is tempted by a life of crime, but learns to put that aside to help everyone save the park would be better and have more character stakes.
Yeah, but they're not concerned about character stakes.
Yes, they were. They spent the middle third of the movie pretending Buddy was dead.
Yeah, but that was just pretending. He wasn't actually dead, so there were no stakes.
Yeah, but that was their idea of stakes, which, again, weird to do in the fucking middle of the movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know why they did that. Also, I think that the plot about Precious and the other dog with the nightmare child genuinely would have made a better movie because Precious's character got to say funny things.
Yeah, it was definitely way, way, way better.
Yeah.
To have the dogs around just even for a tiny little bit than, yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Okay, so despite people seeing the first movie and knowing that The Nut Job 2 was the sequel to the first movie.
Yeah, people once again went to go fucking see this. It must have been a very, very slow weekend when this came out because it grossed $28 million. But still somehow opened at number 3?
Yeah, it had to have been like a fucking January drop or something.
Yeah, and the production budget was $40 million, so $2 million less. And worldwide, this movie made $65 million.
And that's not counting the fact that people definitely rented it for their shitty little kids. And you know what? I'd rather a parent rent this than Izzy's Way Home.
Hey. How dare you?
Oh, don't even how dare me. You can how dare me when we rank all the movies we watched in season 2.
Izzy's Way Home was a work of passion and excitement. I'm making it up.
Izzy's Way Home is my bottom movie of season 2. As you all know, this is the finale of season 2, which means we rank the 10 movies we watched, and then we talk about our favorite movie of the entire podcast and our least favorite movie.
Sorry, hold, real quick. Nut Job 2 came out August 11th.
Oh.
The first Nut Job came out. So it was like a late summer movie. June, July, August. Yeah, so everybody's kind of gearing up to go back to school.
Yeah, and you're just looking to kill time with the kids.
Yeah, and the first Nut Job came out... That was a January release, so it was probably up against fuck all.
Yeah, fuck you, it's January.
Fuck you, it's January. It's the only animated movie that's out, and you're going to take your kids to see it because they're still on break and you don't know what to do with them because you regret having children.
It's true. Who doesn't?
Yay! Movie ranking.
Movie ranking. Go from the bottom to the top?
Yeah, you go first because I'm going to organize mine, like, visually here.
Okay, I will do mine. So, my bottom movie for this season is Izzy's Way Home. It physically pained me to watch Izzy's Way Home. I hated my life. I hated the fact that it existed. I hated that a dude skater matted into the film. I just, fuck Izzy's Way Home. Oh, don't watch it.
I forgot about Skater Matt.
Yeah, you sure fucking did.
I repressed that movie.
My next bottom film is Everyone's Hero, which was a goddamn nightmare, and I would never watch it again. Ever, never. But since the characters' mouths moved, it goes one above Izzy's Way Home.
I can't believe you forgot about Dougal.
Dougal. Ooh, yes. Dougal and Delgo are kind of neck and neck for my next two slots. I list them as equivalent. Dougal has the interesting production background and the fact that it was cut together with all the shit jokes and just is bad. Dougal is bad, but Dougal is interesting.
Yeah.
Delgo is bad, and Delgo is very boring for a large portion of its runtime, but also has an interesting production history. Thus, they kind of share a slot on my list as interesting but bad. Not sure how I feel about it. Next slot on my list goes to Imaginarium. Sorry, Emily. That was hard to watch.
I'm confused because I've somehow doubled up on my movies, and I feel like I have 11
well, that slot goes to Imaginarium. So while you're chewing on that bad boy, next slot goes to Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, a movie that was good for 30 minutes, but there were also 60 additional minutes of footage I had to watch. Thus, not very good. The next film on my list is Chappie, which I forgot that I didn't like the last third of. Thus, it evens out, right? That's how we're going to do this. It evens out. The next film on my list is Toys in the Attic, which, while being like a semi-comprehensible mess, is also beautiful and very clearly was made with love. Thusly, I cannot slot it any lower than where it's at. Then...
So you have Monster House as your number one?
Yes. I'm not sure that I listed The Nut Job and The Nut Job 2, which is a solid middle film. Thus,
I don't think you did, but it's solidly in the middle.
Yeah, slotted above Chappie. It's better. Okay. Watch it. No. Put Chappie above Nut Job and The Nut Job 2. Who am I kidding? Chappie is better than Nut Job and Nut Job 2. I just got distracted because that was a double feature.
I was going to be really concerned for you.
Yeah.
If you had put, yeah.
So, slot Chappie above Nut Job and Nut Job 2. And then my number one movie of this season was Monster House. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I hadn't seen it before, and I had a great time. It's a really good movie, and I would genuinely recommend it as a watch during Halloween.
Yeah, it was spooky. It was
spoopy. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. What the fuck is your list? Let's hear it.
Mel is judging my list. I'm going to go from the bottom to the top, as you did. So my number 10 is Everyone's Hero. Because I was bored as hell. I didn't want to watch it. While I was watching it, I actively hated myself. And I felt nothing while watching. Like, I wasn't mad. I wasn't anything. I was as bland as the movie was. Like, I had no strong feelings about Everyone's Hero.
Damn.
My number 9 is Izzy's Way Home. Yeah, Izzy's Way Home is not my bottom movie.
Jesus
And you
Christ.
want to know why it's not my bottom movie? Because it was hilariously bad.
That's fair.
Like, I was angry while I was watching it, but I was also so entertained because I was like, what the fuck is gonna happen next? But not in a story way. I was more like a what the fuck happens next in an oh my god, this is a piece of garbage and I'm watching it kind of way.
Yeah, the characters just sliding onto screen really helped.
Skater, skater, Matt, skater, Matt, skater, skater, Matt. My number 8 was Dougal. Yep. Dougal happened. Number 7 is Nut Job and Nut Job 2. Because they were just so boring.
Yeah, that's fair.
and I just didn't like it. Number 6 is Delgo. I think the production history for Delgo is enough to like not put it in the very bottom ranking. Like, it wasn't a good movie, and it was boring, and it didn't look good, but the production was interesting enough that it's not in the bottom 3.
Yeah, the story.
Then, at a solid number 5, we have Final Fantasy Spirits Within. It looked pretty. The production history was interesting, but at the same time, I just was so not invested in anything that was going on in it.
Yeah.
At number 4, I have Imaginarium, because, once again, what a weird fucking thing that happened on a budget of $7 in a packet of ketchup. Like, the fact that Imaginarium is what it is for what the budget was, and for being like a concept album feature film made on a budget of like nothing, I had to put Imaginarium at number 4 just because I was so impressed with what was going on. Number 3 is Monster House. So we disagree here.
It's fine.
Monster House was good. I have nothing against Monster House. But there were moments of Monster House where I just wasn't truly fully entertained. And that's not a fault of the movie. I think it was just me watching it. Like, I totally forgot we even watched Monster House. And then, yeah.
I didn't remember how much I liked Monster House until I edited the episode, so.
That's fair. Number 2, I have Toys in the Attic, because I really like bizarre stop motion movies made in post-Soviet era Europe. The director and creator of Toys in the Attic has a very interesting backstory, and I think I rank Toys in the Attic at number 2 just because I know a weird amount about stop motion animation and filmmaking in post-Cold War Eastern Bloc countries. So to me, Toys in the Attic had a lot of meaning that, like, I tried to explain in the episode, but I don't think I did I wrote essays on this topic. It's a lot. So I really love Toys in the Attic. I also just really love how fucking strange and dark and creepy it was, while also being strangely charming. And my number 1 is Chappie.
Shit.
I don't know why. I've just been thinking about Chappie a lot recently. I could not tell you why. But I just really love the concept of, oh my god, Chappie was another, like, album movie.
Yeah. The number 1 robot gangster forever, son.
Wow, we have watched a lot of concept album movies at this point. We've seen I say a lot. It's more than one. We saw Imaginarium, we saw Jack and the Cuckoo Clock Heart, and we saw Chappie. I mean, Chappie obviously does not think of itself as such. Chappie thinks of itself as a real film. It's a real film.
No.
But Chappie is a fucking concept album for D'Antwerp.
I think with more D'Antwerp music and leaning more into the D'Antwerp thing, Chappie would be better.
Chappie, yeah, I mean, there are faults with Chappie, but I really am a sucker for some good visual effects.
Agreed.
Especially for robots, because, like, you don't really see a lot of good robots. Like, fuck Transformers, honestly. So,
bottom movie of all time. My bottom movie of all time is
Izzy's Way.
Yeah, no fucking question. Izzy's, like, Ratatouille and the Little Panda Fighter were painful, but at least each of those were 45 minutes long. Izzy's Way Home is a full 90 and made me want to tear my eyebrows out.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that it was feature length.
And then, my top movie of all time would have to still be Strange Magic. I fucking love that movie.
I love Strange Magic. It's just so good.
God.
You know? Strange Magic.
Here's your reminder. Go watch Strange Magic.
Yeah, please watch Strange Magic. It's so good.
Send George Lucas an email and tell him you liked Strange Magic. Please?
I don't even think at this point it's George Lucas.
Who do I email about liking Strange Magic? Where do I get help?
Yeah, who do I talk to about that? Because I want to know more about the production of Strange Magic, and there's fuck all on it because nobody went to go see it, and I blame everybody, including myself.
I blame myself.
Because I am at fault here. I also did not see Strange Magic when it came out, but I was also, I believe, in college and had no money.
Yeah.
So I have an excuse of I couldn't afford a $20 movie ticket. Sorry, everybody.
No.
So, do we want to pick 10 movies from our current list and slot them in season 3?
Yes, but I'd say we keep our listeners on hold for that, and we tell them, come back next season, which should be in about a week, for season 3 of Animated Opinions. Chills, spills, Osmosis Jones? Maybe. Who knows? You don't know. We could do anything. This season
That's very true.
is brought to you by Next Season. Whoa, trippy whippy, timey-wimey stuff. That's right. The fact that y'all helped fund our 3rd season at the end of our 3rd season from the big donations episode we're going to do. Get ready for that live stream, y'all. You gave us so much money that it retroactively funded season 2. Thanks.
Oh my god, the future is just so fucking wild.
Yeah, like, where did I get those sunglasses that I came back with when I gave myself that fat stack of money? Who knows?
Wait, you got a fat stack of money?
Well, yeah, that's how I'm paying for this podcast.
I just got a weird cryptic note from somebody that only vaguely looked like me that I'm still trying to decode.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Did you
Well, let's see if I'm around for season 3.
Stay tuned for the season 3 live stream. Who knows when it's coming? Who knows when it's happening? No one. And that was Animated Opinions season 2. I'm Melanie.
I'm Emily.
See you next season.